Joe Rogan has now revealed that Ellen may not have been the same person behind the scenes as the image she showed to the public. For years, there have been serious accusations and troubling stories about her behavior. But now it appears that a major insider from the industry is backing up those claims.
She lost everything. She fell apart, disappeared, because people found out that this character that she was portraying in a half an hour on a television show is not really who she was.
Ellen DeGeneres built her public image around being kind and positive. But according to Joe Rogan, the reality behind the scenes was very different. He also pointed out her connections with figures like Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, who have both been mentioned in discussions related to Jeffrey Epstein, and noted that controversial guests, including individuals involved in major violent incidents, appeared on her show.
She goes out there to the Charleston's got war criminals. Her and Bush are jumping around. I mean,
that's right. She was buddies with Bush. That was like
she's
one of the
a
first
CIA agent. Stephen Paddock. And do not ask me for sources, but Stephen Paddock.
Who's that?
He was the guy that shot up the Vegas concert. That was a very tragic thing. Listen to this. The only guy that saw Stephen Paddock alive, his name is Jesus Campos. He was a guard at Mandalay Bay. He got interviewed nowhere else. You know where he got interviewed in the beginning? Ellen.
Really?
Weird. And then they went on, if you could find that clip, they went on with a weird like diagram of how it happened, and Ellen's like showing the people how it happened. Not like an emotional like how are you feeling, how are you holding up. It was a weird diagram of like, and then he went to the left and to the right. It was very strange to look. What the hell's going on? This is a daytime show.
Which is the Paddock guy? And there's two guys there?
The chubbier guy is the Jesus guy. And now Ellen is doing a thing of how the shooting happened.
Look how she's got like an antenna from someone's Buick that she's popped off and she's using it as a pointer.
But why the hell is this happening on like a daytime show where she did?
Joe Rogan and Tom Dillon also made extreme claims about Ellen DeGeneres, suggesting she had secret connections and that disturbing activities were happening at her home beyond public oversight. However, these statements are unverified and highly controversial, with no confirmed evidence to support them.
Not Colonel Sanders. She's just like Sergeant Pepper.
This guy looks like a member of her staff.
What kind of outfit is she wearing?
I don't know. She wears those weird, like, militant, lesbian
that should tell you
uniform.
Something.
Yeah.
Like, that's an odd look with all those buttons. Like, why do you have so many wrist buttons?
It was given to her in Langley.
The only reason why you have that many wrist buttons if you're looking at clothesline somebody.
Yeah, look at her. Look at her. Everyone says she looks so friendly. She looks friendly.
Yeah, she does look very military.
Yeah, she's a militant woman.
With a very expensive watch.
She dealt with a lot of discrimination when she came out. It was very sad, but then she joined the CIA.
Her house got broken into while she was at home.
Really?
Yeah. She got a dope place in Montecito.
And they broke in while she was there.
Yeah.
And those people are still being tortured to this day.
Probably.
They're still in an underground jail.
Yeah, she's feeding them to her staff.
That comparison is often made by people discussing Jeffrey Epstein and the accusations tied to him. Some have pointed to his emails, saying they appear ordinary at first glance, short, casual, and nothing unusual. But they argue that certain words repeat in ways that seem out of place. One example often mentioned is a message that speaks very highly of someone, followed by a reply that unexpectedly refers to it as pizza, which some interpret as unusual or coded language. However, these interpretations remain speculative and have not been proven.
Faz, another thing I want to get your thoughts on is the reference to pizza. We talked about it earlier. I'll give you another example here. Epstein sends a message to someone. She looks pregnant, reacting to a photo. And the client replies back to Epstein, "You mean radiating a soft glow with the look of bliss and excitement? Yeah, that's the pizza." I cannot be clearer than this, that this is a code word. It makes no sense in that context whatsoever. And this on top of the example I gave you earlier, when his virologist gave him the medicine for having an erection, erectile dysfunction, I assume, or it could be even Viagra, and then told him to wash his hands, go have pizza and grape soda. That's been mentioned time and time again. Having adult men, successful men that are very health oriented, constantly talk about pizza and pizza with grape soda, which I've never heard before.
Yeah, I've never heard of pizza and grape soda before this. I don't know if that specific combination was part of the whole Pizzagate thing, but it's definitely mentioned a lot because I saw that phrase, so I looked it up and was like, is this actually like?
And the claims don't stop there. Some people point to another phrase that shows up in multiple messages: beef jerky. On its own, it sounds harmless, just another type of food. But in certain discussions, the way it's described raises questions. Some messages mention handling it with care, storing it in cold conditions, or using insulated bags. That stands out because beef jerky is normally preserved and doesn't require refrigeration. Because of this, some observers believe the wording feels unusual or out of place. However, these interpretations are still based on speculation and have not been confirmed.
From Jeffrey Epstein, someone else says, Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky, anyone? He will also bring you a taste of his jerky recipe from the restaurant and sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called Cook's. Wait for it, beef jerky and steak. He has time at 3 p.m. There's other emails of him talking about beef jerky. Another one here is Jeffrey Epstein sending it to Steve Hansen saying, hope you're feeling better. Did we analyze the beef? Did we analyze the jerky? Now there's talks about jerky, it could be for scientific research, could be something else that's even sicker. But there's more emails here talking about beef jerky. Have you had time to go through those? There's one here. Thank you so much. Super cool. IT guy setting up Surface right now. We are ridiculously excited, and beef jerky delicious. Thank you, Thanksgiving. So yeah.
It is very. Now I've got all those emails saved. I'd actually had somebody send me all of those to say, "Hey, would you check this out?" So I have them. I have not read through all of them, but there's no shortage of terms that are phrased in a peculiar way. Muffin is another one. I've seen that a couple of times. I talked about when he says "whoops." That seems to be in very. Sometimes he says that in very odd terms that seem like they're referring to somebody dying or getting. So there definitely seem to be code words. So. The pizza and grape soda thing. Here's one example of that. So, yeah, this is better than a Chinese cookie. See attached. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand. Go no. Or go, I don't know what I was supposed to say, but there actually is a picture later on from one of his friends of actual pizza and grape soda. But what this does is that if you went to law enforcement and said, I know there's something to this, then they went through and started going through. They'd say, well, he took a picture of pizza and grape soda. It would never.
There have been rumors suggesting that Ellen DeGeneres was close to Prince Andrew, especially around the time she reportedly spent more time in the UK after Donald Trump won the US election. Some have tried to link her move to the political climate and Trump's statements about releasing files connected to Jeffrey Epstein. However, there is no confirmed evidence that her relocation was tied to any of these claims, and such ideas remain speculative. What is clearly documented, though, is Prince Andrew's connection to Epstein, which became one of the most talked about aspects of the case. Past reports, interviews, and public appearances raised serious concerns, particularly because he maintained contact with Epstein even after earlier legal issues involving Epstein were already known.
Royal news. The US Department of Justice has released an image which appears to show former Prince Andrew and former UK trade envoy Peter Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is the first known picture to allegedly contain these three individuals. Now, no time or location is given for the photo, yet ITV News in the UK believes that it was taken at Martha's Vineyard in an island in Massachusetts between 1999 and 2000. Of course, there's no suggestion appearing in this photo as an indication of wrongdoing. But Angela, what do you make of this photo?
Like the Andrew in the back of the car photo, this is going to be a picture that we see again and again over the years because, of course, Mandelson and Andrew are only two figures in this who have been arrested and they haven't been charged yet, but there's inquiries going into whether they are guilty of professional misconduct in office. Now, I have an issue with the fact that Americans haven't been pulled in front of their legal system yet. It's interesting that it's the Brits, and of course Ghislaine Maxwell is the only person in prison at the moment as a result of these Epstein inquiries. But that is a very dramatic picture because these are three key figures. It's also what they're wearing. You've got Prince Andrew and Peter Mandelson both in robes, white robes, which is just a seedy look. Look, it's a really problematic photo for them. But interestingly, this is how the DOJ is, it's not releasing this information slowly. What's happening is because journalists have to go through it manually. I've done a search through the DOJ files and you have to put in a search word, but that search word will not necessarily throw up what you're looking for. You may find find a picture such as this in something completely unrelated to what you're searching for. Right. So it's going to, I mean, if you think about the number of files and that millions of files, we're going to be seeing shocking and questionable images from this.
Why would American comedian and TV host be linked, even indirectly, to someone like Epstein? The story gets stranger with claims about a so-called black book, a real contact list tied to Jeffrey Epstein's network. Reports say it contained names ranging from billionaires and politicians to celebrities, some of which could have implicated Ellen. Certain names were even circled, suggesting deeper involvement. But the person who could explain why is no longer alive. The case traces back to 2005, when Palm Beach police
did a thorough investigation. They really had a lot of evidence. They did trash pulls. It was an 11-month investigation. It was intense.
But Epstein caught wind there was going to be a search at his Palm Beach residence and devised a plan. Videos of the Palm Beach police search match what investigators also reported in their own documents. That monitors, keyboards, and printers were found, but no computers.
Jeffrey Epstein was tipped off on the search warrant. You see the police video when they go into the house. The computers had all been removed.
Newly revealed witness testimony from 2019 shows Epstein called one of his assistants, who he was also abusing, and directed her to remove not only the computers, but all the contact books in his house. Documents show in October 2005, Epstein told her to go to Palm Beach to meet someone to hand over the contact books and computers, and that Epstein ordered her to hand everything over to a private investigator. She was then directed by Epstein to collect all the contact books from his home in the Virgin Islands, and later to bring items back from the island to New York, where she was told to shred it in Maxwell's office, and the contact books from both residences then erased. Or so they thought.
What Epstein didn't realize was that his former butler, Alfredo Rodriguez, had secretly kept a copy of the infamous Black Book. Having worked at Epstein's Palm Beach home, Rodriguez had witnessed enough to suspect serious wrongdoing involving young girls. Initially, he didn't reveal that he had the book, leaving investigators without a crucial piece of evidence in the early stages of the case. Years later, after Epstein's arrest, Rodriguez attempted to sell the book, bringing it back into public attention.
Well, I deposed that summer was Alfredo Rodriguez.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Brad Edwards, representing Epstein survivors, interviewed Alfredo Rodriguez 2 times.
Alfredo Rodriguez was very nervous for the first part of the deposition. You could tell he had more information than he was giving. He talked about, it's the Black Book. He talked about being fired and obtained some documents that had some of the names of some of the young girls that were coming over to the house. But he gave the impression in his deposition that he didn't know where that was.
Rodriguez, desperate for money, saying no one would hire him, later asked Edwards for $50,000 in exchange for a copy of the book.
I couldn't convince him that he needed to just turn it over. So I called the U.S. Attorney's Office and said, look, I have to report that a witness is holding a document hostage with a price tag of $50,000.
A sting operation with the FBI was quickly launched to retrieve a copy of the book from Rodriguez. New video and phone calls show the exchange.
I was going to tell you where to meet me. Okay, Gary, go ahead. Give me the address. There's a Hilton Hotel at the corner of Glades Road in Boca. I'm in room 118.
No. The FBI didn't know nothing. The FBI just went through the files of Palm Beach Police Department, and they didn't subpoena me.
The man on the right, an FBI agent undercover as Brad Edwards' associate. On the left, Rodriguez in possession of a copy of the Black Book.
Rodriguez met with someone he thought was connected to the lawyer, but it was actually an undercover FBI agent. During the meeting, he showed the book, explained how he had organized it, and even pointed out names he believed were important. The footage captured him talking openly, believing he was about to get paid. But instead of walking away with money, he was arrested.
The amount of famous names that were in that. Mick Jagger, Courtney Love, Prince Andrew, Fergie, just people from all over the world. President Clinton, President Trump. He wasn't president at the time, but Donald Trump was in there. And just so many famous people were in there.
And though many names are listed, inclusion in the book is not evidence of any wrongdoing. In the video, Rodriguez calls out names of people he thought had information, including now President Donald Trump, who's denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes.
Of course, Donald Trump.
Also mentioned so-called massage providers from everywhere in the world.
The fact that the names and numbers of these girls, not only here but in other locations throughout the world, were contained in this book, he thought he needed to preserve that information.
All right, let me get you your money, buddy. Okay, here.
Shortly after that, when I guess they were supposed to give him the $50,000, he was arrested. It was uncovered to Alfredo that these were not Brad's fixers. This was the FBI.
Rodriguez arranged a meeting with someone he believed was connected to a lawyer, but it turned out to be an undercover FBI agent. During the meeting, he openly showed the black book, explained how he had organized it, and highlighted names he thought were significant. Thinking he was about to be paid, Rodriguez spoke freely, only to be arrested instead of receiving any money.
Not even being charged for any of the things you just brought up. He's not being charged for blackmail, which is kind of crazy because, what did they do? Why did they tell us that there was all these videos of all these high-profile people and then silence, and then it never comes up once during the trial? There's none of that stuff in the trial. In the trial, it was his ex-girlfriend Cassie. They were talking about, he's up for these 2 charges left, and it's like destitution, something. It's like nothing stuff. It's like stuff that he's going to go to jail for like 5 years, if at all, and probably won't.
Right.
And he's already been in jail for. So what is time served now? It's over a year, right?
Yeah. No, I think he's going to walk, dude. I mean,
I think he's going to walk too.
I don't think he's going to spend any time.
And this is what Kurt Metzger called a long time ago. As soon as he saw that it was Comey's daughter, he was like, oh, he's going to walk. Trust me, he's going to walk. There's a bunch of high-profile people that are connected to this.
After Rodriguez's arrest, the FBI finally gained possession of the only known copy of Epstein's Black Book. Rodriguez was later charged with obstruction of justice and sentenced to 18 months in prison. He passed away in 2015 at the age of 60, yet questions remain. If the FBI had this key evidence, why wasn't it fully acted upon? How did Epstein and his circle manage to avoid serious consequences for so long? Many observers suggest that Epstein had powerful friends, a pattern often seen with high-profile alleged criminals. For instance, Diddy was recently implicated in serious allegations, and interestingly, he was also connected to Ellen DeGeneres. Switching gears, the conversation shifts to social media and personal life. Someone mentions how they started using Twitter, discovering it's not just fun, but also a tool to connect with people, share news quickly, and engage with others' feelings. The discussion then turns to birthday parties, with casual back and forth about timings, locations, and afterpar.
And there's so many people on the list that are probably innocent, but they're
right. They just went to the island for a party.
No, there's got to be a hard drive.
There's got to be
sitting in Tel Aviv right now.
Yeah, that's listen.
That's the other part of this too. They asked Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers what their shit was.
He had like 100 cameras in that penthouse, in every single house.
Do you know his house is for sale in New York?
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
make that a podcast studio.
No, my wife found it on Trulia or whatever it is.
Yeah.
One of the maps, and she's like, "Look at this beautiful." Because we were in
the townhouse.
Yeah, like it's not a townhouse. It's a house. It's like it's a big ass house. It's like multiple stories.
The one right across the street from Central Park. Yeah,
that one. It's for sale right now.
How much?
I think it was like 60 or 70 million, something like that, which is what it's worth. But who wants to live in the Epstein house? First of all, if I bought that house, I'd want the Clinton painting. Can you get me that painting?
Yeah.
Clinton in the
It's
blue
gotta
dress.
come with all that inside.
I have to have that painting. I want George Bush with the Jenga towers and the paper airplanes. I want all of it.
And then the lady just died too. The lady got hit by a car. One of the witnesses.
Yeah.
One of the Jeffrey Epstein witnesses. And then apparently she had like a husband who was abusing her. And You know, people like to, it's just like people like to use this stuff as like a political football to like argue for whatever they believe in.
And also, when you get rich, powerful people, so here's the thing that happens with rich, powerful people. They can't go anywhere, right? If you're like, say, a Jeff Bezos type or someone who's like an Elon Musk type, and I'm not accusing them of anything. I'm just saying at that caliber of celebrity and that caliber of prominence, you can't go anywhere. If you're Bill Clinton back in the 80s or the 90s, whatever it was, you can't go party. You know, everybody knows who you are. You got to be protected, right? But you want